morning and welcome to Channel 7 News, where we let you know first. I'm Kalista Eggers, and I can assure you that today's show is packed full of exciting stories, helpful tips, and more, all staged right here in Mount Horeb. So stay tuned. Now, I'll introduce you to the names of our team of skilled anchors. Ian Cunningham, Reilly Fleming, Jochimsen, and Bennie Larson. Now let's get on with the show. First, we'll head over to Bennie with a story on a local drug bust.
Good morning. On January 10, 2016, two young men were arrested for having large amounts of marijuana growing in their basement. The owner of the house, Al Zen, was arrested along with his older cousin, Rick Zen, who appeared to have been living in the house with Al for quite a few years. Officers John Bryan and Ron Smiley arrived at the house after getting a call about a noise disturbance. The two officers were greeted at the door by Al, who was clearly under the influence of drugs. While searching the house, Officer Smiley found Rick passed out in the basement due to alcohol abusement. Officer Smiley then found the massive marijuana farm that the Zen cousins had. Authorities say that there was almost 300 pounds of marijuana growing in plants alone. This is not including all the processed marijuana that Al and Rick had in their basement. Overall, all of the narcotics are worth about $1,000 total. Al and Rick Zen are both facing years in prison along with multiple felony charges.
Thanks, Bennie, for that interesting story. It's such a shame that people right here in Mount Horeb would do such an illegal thing. Now we will move on to a story by Ian on a devastating shooting nearby.
On January 18, 2016, 4 men were shot in a local building complex located on 2nd Street in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. It was a cold, quiet winter night when around 1 a.m. 6 gunshots were heard. A young man, which the names classified, called Mount Horeb Police Department and reported the shots. The man said that he was sound asleep when all of a sudden he was woken up by a very loud bang, a floor underneath him. When he got up, he heard screaming and yelling of a group of men, but he couldn't figure out what they were saying because they were speaking in another language. Then all of a sudden he heard the rest of the gunshots, and it went silent. That's when he called 911 to report about it. When he reported about the shots. The police arrived and they found 4 men dead in room 69. Only one name has been released, DJ Khaled, age 31. He had a note in his pants that said another one, and just another one. The rest of the names still have not been released. The police say that the incident is due to a drug deal on cocaine. More investigation is underway.
And of course, we can all hope that the authorities will be able to sort everything out and give all the necessary charges. Next is another rather upsetting story about an accident that occurred this weekend involving a man and a car.
Good morning, Kalista. As you mentioned, there was an accident earlier this morning from a texting and driving case. A 78-year-old man was crossing the street right on the intersection near the Grumpy Troll when he thought it was safe to go. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Lindsay Downs was texting and didn't have her eyes on the road. A parent's worst nightmare happened when Lindsay tried not to hit the elderly man and instead went into incoming traffic. The elderly man, who didn't want to be named, says he was terrified when he saw the car coming and didn't know what to do but call 911. Lindsay and the other car passenger are both in the hospital with thankfully only minor injuries. Police are talking charges. Because she is 18, they can imprison her, and because of injuries, points will be taken off of her driving record. She might be fined. That is for the judge to decide. Back to you, Kalista.
Thanks, Reilly. I'm sure this sends a good message out to people about how truly dangerous texting and driving can be. Now we will head over to Ian with a story on a house fire here in town.
Last night around 11 p.m., the fire department received a call by a young woman named Termisha Jones-Black about how her house is on fire and she can't get out. The Mount Horeb Fire Department arrived on the location of the fire on Blessup Street in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. But once the fire department arrived, it was too late. The house completely burned down and Miss Termisha Jones-Black's body was found. Her funeral will be held on January 30th, 2016 at 4:15 p.m. at Ellisstead Funeral Home in honor of her amazing life.
Truly devastating. Everyone is encouraged by Miss Jones Black's family to attend the funeral services, as it would have been her preference that people were able to celebrate her life together. For our next segment, we will head back to Ian for a story on Tyrrell Basin.
Winter has hit Mount Horeb, but there has not been any snow that actually has stuck for a whole week. Snowboarding and skiing shops really have not been doing so good with sales this winter due to the unexpected drought of snow in Wisconsin. But one place on the outskirts of Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, has been bringing in customers each and every day since opening. Tyrrell Basin, a ski and snowboarding winter wonderland. But how is Tyrrell the only place in Mount Horeb that has snow? Well, they make their own snow. Men work each night once the basin closes at 9, from 9 p.m. to 11 a.m. each day to make the snow and spread it across. We asked a daily customer on his opinion of the stuff.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions to ask you about Tyrrell Basin. So one is, what's the difference between fake snow and real snow?
Well, fake snow is they take water and they pump it into a tube that has cold air into it, and it's blown out onto where you need it. And it's the snow itself is more ice, and it's kind of chunky, little tiny chunks. And then real snow is stuff that you'd find outside.
Oh, okay. So do you prefer fake snow or real snow for snowboarding?
It really depends on kind of the mood you're in. If you more just want to go down the hill and stuff, well, real snow's really good for that because it's more powdery, it's fluffy. Fake snow, it's good for it, but it's not as good because it's more ice and it's slippery. So, I mean, if you want to go fast, then yeah, go with fake snow.
Okay. So what time is like your favorite time to go snowing? I mean,
favorite.
sledding. Okay, so when's your favorite time to go snowboarding?
My favorite time to go snowboarding is when it's snowing, just because it makes you feel like you're actually out in the mountains instead of in the middle of Wisconsin.
So has it been easier this season to make snow?
Recently it's been pretty easy because of the colder weather, but towards the beginning of the season, it was pretty hard because it was warm at night, it wasn't getting down below freezing, and the rain that we always had, whatever we were able to make would just melt away because of the rain.
So you work at Tyrrell Basin, right? Is it fun? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's pretty fun.
Why's that?
Well, snowboarding's my favorite thing to do. It's what I enjoy to do, so it just makes the job more fun.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering these questions for me. That's a lot.
Big thanks go out to Mr. Bender for answering those questions for us. Moving on, we will now get to hear a story from Reilly, who is located at the Summer House Gallery, which is currently housing the high school art show. Over to you, Reilly.
A fun event happening right here in Mount Horeb. The Mount Horeb High School Art Show is happening right on Main Street at the Art House Gallery next to Schulin's, starting on December 14th and going until January 9th. You still have time to come and support. If you want to visit, come on Saturdays or Sundays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. There are many things in there that are for sale made by the Mount Horeb art students. Profits from this goes to the art club. Not only are those things for sales, but also artwork by the students. This is a really good way to have the students try or start an art career. While you are here, feel free to vote for the best in show. The winner gets their art previewed in the Summer House Gallery and a $50 gift certificate to there as well. One lucky senior will be getting a $200 scholarship from the art club as well. Art teachers Dana Showers and Anna King started this 4 years ago and continue to make it great. Here at the art show are many different categories such as photography, paintings, pencil drawings, and so much more. So stop down to support the artistic students and enjoy the beautiful art. Thanks.
In light news, we'll talk about a young boy helping out the elderly in his town. Little James Hond of Mount Horeb has spent 2 of the past 7 years of his life volunteering in Ingleside Retirement Home. Whether it's helping out the elderly to get from place to place, or taking out the endless trash bags to the dumpster, James does it all. The nurses love him because he is so happy to help out and give the people at the retirement home a comfortable living environment. He will literally do anything that they tell him to, and when he does it, he does the job right the first time. All of the elderly in the home love him as well because of his great attitude and the cheer that he brings every single day. This young man is a perfect example of a future hard worker He is dedicated and can recognize problems quickly. And when he does find problems, he fixes them as soon as he can. If you would like to volunteer with young James Hans, you can go onto InglesideRetirementHome.com to register. Even if it's only for a few minutes, you can still make a difference in someone's life.
We'll be right back after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Are you ever cold? Like outside in the snow? Or what about on the couch? Or what about in your bed? While eating soup? Brr. While having cold ice? If you answered yes, you need a blind cat. Blind cats are perfect for any occasion. Wear them as a robe, or as a dress, a toga, or as a blanket. Don't hesitate. Call now at 222-4144 or order online. It's only $43.32. Call 222-4144.
Last night on Garfield Street in Mount Horeb, there was a slight fender bender. The creator of the fender bender was a sophomore in high school named Mason Bender. Due to the light snow that we had last night, the roads were very slippery and hard to drive on. Mason lost control of his vehicle due to accelerating too quickly while going down a hill. Thankfully, the owner of the parked car that he hit decided not to press charges. Just a reminder to everyone watching to drive safely. Be sure to drive a little slower in the winter, especially when it's icy. Bad things can happen if you lose control of your car.
Yesterday morning around 9:30 a.m., the local fire department received a call from a house located at 323 Stonefield Way. This is home to 82-year-old Miss Janice Germain and her 3 cats. Miss Germain called and stated that one of her cats had climbed into a tree in her front yard prior to the snowstorm and had become too afraid to climb down. The fire department responded by sending several of their volunteers and a ladder truck, and they safely carried the cat down and returned him to Miss Germain. She would like to send her praises to all who were involved with the rescue and urge any other pet owners to have caution and keep a close watch on their animals because this cold weather can be very dangerous for them, and it is important to know how to keep them safe. Now over to Reilly with more on this.
Good morning, Kalista! As you can see, I'm out wearing what they call the storm of the century. Right here in Mount Horeb, people are comparing it to Armageddon. With wind speeds getting up to 50 miles an hour at night and 30 during the day, it can start to feel like Antarctica. Although it may only be 3 degrees, it feels like negative 30. With these temperatures, it can lead to many tragedies, such as lost dogs and lost toddlers. Local resident Don Dean was a victim of the lost pet. She was walking right here on these trails 3 nights ago. Her dog saw a squirrel and ran for it. He was missing for 3 days, and Don began to lose hope when a local resident found him and brought him back and reunited. This leads us to remind you to stay safe in this cold weather and to stay warm. Thanks. Back to you.
Thanks, Reilly. Now that the weather has finally started to get cold again, we can start to appreciate some of winter's joys. Just off of Garfield Street, close to the high school in Grundle Park, the local fire department has been preparing to keep a local tradition alive. Every year, the fire department creates a makeshift outdoor ice skating rink open for public use. Due to warm temperatures early in the season, the construction was slightly delayed, but it will continue to be created. The firemen use their large hoses to spread a thin layer of water onto the grassy area, allowing it to freeze before adding layer after layer, until there is finally enough ice for people to safely skate on. There is also a warming house located nearby that houses the ice skates in a large range of sizes. Not only do they have normal figure skating ice skates, they also have hockey skates. So there is a large variety to choose from. Also in the warming house is a heater for skaters to warm up with, and also some snacks and hot chocolate. This is a fun activity for the whole family, so make sure to stop down when it is fully constructed. Now over to you, Tia.
This past weekend at Grundle Park, there was an accident on the sledding hill. It involved two children colliding on their way down the hill. Both children lost control of their sleds and tumbled down, entangled with each other. Neither sustained injuries. They departed the park with steaming cups of hot chocolate. Keep in mind to watch your children while they're sledding. Teach them to watch out for other children before going down on their sled. It's also best to ensure that your child knows the proper riding technique and does not try anything dangerous. Take these steps so that the children in our community are kept safe and enjoy their winter fun.
Thanks, Tia, for that informational story on sledding safety. Now it's time for sports. Here's Ian telling us about the Mount Horeb varsity girls gymnastics team.
Winter is here, and that means winter sports have finally arrived. One sport and team we are focusing on today is the Mount Horeb gymnastics team. Mount Horeb won state last winter with an undefeated record. Lauren Faust and Sarah Duff pulled off a major scores on the bars and beam to bring home the gold trophy. This year, without the help of the two-star gymnasts, the team is looking great, with an overall 11-0 record so far. If the team is doing this good, there might be a high chance for Mount Horeb and head coach Faust to bring back another trophy for the 2016 season. If Mount Horeb does bring home the gold, that would be the first time since 1738 when Mount Horeb won back-to-back. We are doing a poll at channel7.com on who you think will win gold for the 2016 season. So go and vote. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks, Ian. Congratulations again to the girls' varsity gymnastics team. Now here's Reilly with the latest update on boys' varsity wrestling.
Good news for the Mount Horeb Vikings, as they take first at their first home tournament, scoring 216.5 points and beating 4 other teams. Also, Channel 7 would like to congratulate the team on placing 2nd, 9th, 11th, and 13th at Bi-State. If you're wanting to cheer on the Vikings, come to the Mount Horeb High School main gym on Friday, January 15th from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. For more information on the Mount Horeb High School's team, feel free to visit the website at mounthoreb.com. Not only is the high school doing very well, but so is the middle schoolers. Their last tournament ended with 9 pins and 14 victories. Nice job, Vikings! Coach Arneson would like to thank everyone who supported the kids and the parents for being very dedicated. Thanks. Back to you.
On Friday, January 9th, the girls' varsity basketball team took on the overwhelmingly strong Stoughton Vikings. By the end of the game, there was a total of 3 injuries for Mount Horeb and 1 for Stoughton. Jesse Fisher of Mount Horeb had to be taken off the court due to what paramedics think is an ACL tear. The injury occurred during tip-off when the ball got loose from both teams. Jesse and the Stoughton Viking both ran and dove after the ball as fast as they could. After obtaining possession of the ball, Jesse's right leg was caught under another player, and she tore her ACL. It will take well over a month for her to recover completely. After watching their teammate get carried away, girls from Mount Horeb couldn't get their heads in the game. The entire game, Stoughton led Mount Horeb by over 20. 2 other players from Mount Horeb stumbled off the court as well. One young lady hit her head while diving after the basketball, and the other had a very badly hurt right knee. The final score was 63-24, and the Stoughton Vikings won. The Mount Horeb Vikings will travel to Sauk Prairie for their next game. On Friday, January 9th, our very own boys varsity basketball team took on DeForest at 7 p.m. The Vikings did end the game with a victory, but it was a long, tough game. The 2 teams battled it out throughout the entire game, sometimes even getting a little physical with each other. There was a total of 17 fouls, 10 against the Vikings and 7 against DeForest. 2 injuries also took place during the game. A player from DeForest was taken off the court due to a broken wrist. The young man broke his wrist while landing on it after going up for a rebound. Our very own Zach Steckline also wobbled off the court due to a very badly twisted ankle. Mr. Steckline will continue to practice and play through his injury. With the ending score 65-59, the Vikings take the victory and host the Stoughton Vikings next Friday.
On Friday, January 8th, the Verona area Mount Horeb boys swim team welcomed the Middleton Cardinals to their pool for one of their last home dual meets. New records were set in the 100 breaststroke by Torben Kittelsen and in the 4x100 freestyle relay by James and Jacob Wellnitz, Shane Roseboom, and Will McMillan, as well as an array of best times achieved according to the head coach Bill Werger. There were a lot of close races, but we were able to push through and stay strong, he answered when asked about how he thought the meet went. The final scoring for JV was 89 Verona to 82 Middleton, and for varsity was 164 Verona and 143 Middleton. Next Friday, the boys will be traveling to Madison East for another tough duel at 5:30 p.m. in the natatorium. Now over to Tia with a story on the girls' high school dance team.
The Mount Horeb High School dance team started their first season during the fall. They performed at the varsity football games, showcasing a variety of dance styles, including hip-hop and jazz. This winter season, they are performing during both girls' and boys' basketball games. Before the high school's winter break, the dance team performed a routine to All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. This routine occurred during halftime of the girls' and boys' varsity games. Although the dance team does not compete against other teams, the high school truly appreciates all the time and effort they put in to make their performances spectacular. The routines provide for a more lively halftime and leave the student section re-pumped up to enter the second half of the game, cheering loudly. Catch the dance team's next performance during the girls' varsity game for their Coaches vs. Cancer night. Thanks, Mount Horeb Dance Team, for doing what you do to entertain our halftimes.
Do you ever feel like this? Or maybe even this. If so, buy the new drink, Frenergy. It's the breakthrough in fruit-flavored energy drinks. Buy in stores now for $10.24.
I need energy.
Here you go.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, I need energy.
Here you are.
Oh, thanks, pal.
Welcome back. This past weekend, the Mount Horeb High School DECA Club sent many students to a competition in which a majority of the students placed and medaled. Today, we are lucky to have Mount Horeb High School DECA's own Dana Zosky with us to tell us more. Over to you.
With the Mount Horeb DECA competition just ending, Channel 7 was very curious as to what goes on in the actual competition. So here to help us is sophomore Dana Zosky. Is it okay if we ask you a few questions, Dana?
Definitely.
Okay. So our first question is, how many years have you participated in DECA?
2 years.
Oh, very cool. And for the actual competition, what do you do to prepare for it?
Not a lot, but going to lunch bunches really helps. Working with alumni who were here, like Blaine Bestel, great kid. He helped a ton, and Miss Thompson, too, helps prepare.
Very interesting. And what did your actual role play consist of?
Well, there's 2 different role plays, and in the first one, you are trying to convince your client to come with your company instead of going to like an online company. At least that was our first role play. And in the second one, we were trying to advertise how tourists should come to our town versus different places.
Okay, so you were with a partner, I see.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Team event.
Nice. And I heard you received an award. Which one did you receive?
Liza and I actually received 2 awards, one for our role play, one for our cluster test, and we also got 2nd place in our category for the series.
Very impressive. That's very good.
Thank you.
And what other activities in DECA have you participated in?
I have done the haunted house and also trick or canning. Both are very fun.
Wow. And our last question, do you recommend others to do DECA?
Definitely. It is a great way to prepare yourself for the future, for job interviews, all that kind of stuff, and it also helps build leaders for our world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thana. That concludes our interview. Channel 7 would like to congratulate DECA and all their competitors. Thank you.
Well done, DECA members. Now let's head over to Tia with an editorial.
Movies are a form of entertainment for people of all ages. From children to teenager to adult, there are movie choices for all. Movie theaters are found in central areas to be used by the community. Living in Mount Horeb, there is no movie theater, the closest ones being at least a 20-minute drive. It would benefit the community of Mount Horeb to have a movie theater in town. A movie theater would easily become a hotspot in town, able to bring in a fair amount of money. The cost to construct the theater could soon be paid off from its profits. Local constructing companies could build it, which would help their local business. Of a survey conducted of high school students, 80% said they would go to see movies shown if a movie in town existed. As I already mentioned, movies can be viewed and enjoyed by everyone, so we can expect the percentage to still be high if the whole town were to be surveyed. Another benefit would be that a movie theater would create numerous jobs. These jobs could include working as a cashier, selling tickets, ushering people to their seats, running concessions for snacks, or working as a janitor for cleanup. High schoolers could fill many of these positions, as could adults looking for jobs in town. The elementary and middle schools could take fun field trips to see movies without having to travel far and increase the cost to go. Movie theaters can also create important marketing opportunities for other businesses. This will increase all business in Mount Horeb and, as they say, put us on the map as a town that has enjoyable options for its community. In order to gain an attraction of entertainment for all ages, increase the number of available jobs in town, and bring more money into the community, Mount Horeb should implement a movie theater.
Thank you for joining us today for What's Happening in Moho. With this program, it can help you see what's going on. If you're wanting to do something on one of these days, listen up. On Monday, there are many fun things buzzing in Mount Horeb. Do you like pies or tasting sweet treats? Well, you are in luck if you do. At the Mount Horeb Public Library, there will be a pie tasting contest. Along with pies, there will be many other treats such as cookies, cakes, and brownies. The treats are made from local Mount Horeb people. Stopping by from noon to 4. Another thing occurring on Monday through Thursday is the annual get-together for shoveling. With the freezing temperatures, it can be hard for elderly people to shovel their driveways or the sidewalks. So if you want to get silver coat hours, or just want that good inside feeling, feel free to meet at the Mount Horeb Middle School at 4 p.m. on Monday. Bring a shovel and warm clothes. On Tuesday at the Mount Horeb Public Library, there is going to be a book reading of Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume and read by Judy Blume, starting at 3:45 after school and going to about 5. Feel free to have some food at the pizza party afterwards as well. If you like arts and crafts, then you will love Don Keeley's ceramic classes on Tuesdays through Thursdays. These classes are for beginners and advanced artists, so don't feel shy. It starts at 7 p.m. and goes to about 8 p.m. at the Mount Horeb Art Gallery. This is something you don't want to miss. On Wednesdays, the musical auditions for The Sound of Music will be held at the Mount Horeb High School in the auditorium. Be prepared to sing The Hills Are Alive and a dance to learn. Again, at the library, there will be a baking seminar by Chef O'Neill, and you will be learning how to bake a triple chocolate creme brulee. Yum! At Tidal Basin on Thursday, don't miss the free Pass Thursday. The ski lift pass will be free for high school students and below. Have fun and make sure you stay warm. On Friday, the Chamber of Commerce will be hosting a highway cleanup on JG. The president quotes, "It is devastating how dirty our highways are, so we can make a difference in this road by cleaning them up." Channel 7 encourages you to go and help our community at 4 p.m. meeting at the Welcome Center in Mount Horeb on Main Street. To wrap the week up, feel free to stop on by the Grumpy Troll this Saturday where kids eat free. Thanks for joining us on this week's weekly What's Happening in Moho. For more information, check our website at channel7.com. Thanks.
Today's first review will be on the fourth movie of the Hunger Games series, which is actually about the third book, Mockingjay. Part 1 of this movie came out in November of 2014, and Part 2 almost exactly a year later. It picks up right where the first left off, right after the Quarter Quell games. Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, struggles to fight for her life and the lives of those around her, especially the one she loves, Peeta Mellark, who is played by Josh Hutcherson. This movie is filled with action and excitement, but also a few heart-wrenching, emotional scenes. The movie followed accurately with the storyline of the book, which was written by Suzanne Collins, which can be seen as a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. It can be seen as a good thing because it followed accurately with the storyline, which is always good, but it can be seen as a bad thing because, as it is the third book in the season, it wasn't quite as good quality as the first books of the season, causing the movie to not be that good itself. Even with this being said, the movie was still pretty good, and overall I would give it about an 8 out of 10, and would still recommend it to anyone, whether they have read the books or not. Now we'll go over to Reilly with a book review.
Why, hello there. Thank you for coming to join us for our weekly book review. With this cold weather we've been having, it makes many of us want to sit down and relax and read a good book. With Allegiance, the third movie in the trilogy of Divergent, coming out on March 18th, it can be nice to know some of the background on the series, mainly the first one, Divergent, written by Veronica Roth. With this book review, I hope it will help you understand the upcoming movie. To begin with this sci-fi adventure, the main character, Beatrice Pyre, is conflicted with who she really is. She lives in a faction named Abnegation, which means she's very selfless and giving towards others. She feels more brave and daring. Luckily for her, there is a choosing day where you have the choice to choose a different faction. There is also a test to help you choose which faction to be in. Beatrice gets Divergent, and she has never heard of it, besides that it's very dangerous to be one. But she is still very conflicted, because she doesn't want to let her parents down in not choosing Abnegation. But she still decides to change to Dauntless, which is daring and brave. While she is there, she changes her name to Triss, and meets a Dauntless man who she soon develops feelings for. Now I can't share the whole book, because you need to read it for yourself. But go ahead and sit down and read this book in this cold winter weather. Thanks.
It's time to come to an end. For our final segment of the day, it's time for Cooking with Tea.
Hello, and welcome back to the segment Cooking with Tea. Today, we'll be making strawberry banana smoothies. First, we'll get all our ingredients, which I've already pre-measured. We have 2 cups of frozen strawberries and raspberries, about a cup of blueberry yogurt, and I use blueberry to get another fruit flavor in there, but you can use any kind you like. 1 ripe banana, a cup of spinach for a green healthy boost, and half a cup of milk. First, we'll put in the cup of spinach and the frozen fruit. And you can use frozen fruit as opposed to fresh, because then you don't need to use ice. So we're going to use ice crush and mix that up. It's easiest to do the frozen fruit and the spinach first, so that you can make sure it is well blended before adding the rest of the ingredients. So now that I know that that is blended, I will add the banana, yogurt, and milk. So I have the banana and half cup of milk, and I'll add the yogurt. And then we will blend this until it is well blended. Now with your smoothie blended to the consistency you like, you can simply pour it in a glass and enjoy. Join us next week where we'll be making homemade French toast.
Thank you for joining us on this wonderful morning. We had many crazy, exciting stories today, and you can bet that there will be more to come in the future. Be sure to check out Channel 7 News out on Facebook and Twitter to get the newest, freshest updates. Be sure to check out our website and to find out about local activities and events. From everyone here at Channel 7 News, we hope that you have a fantastic day.